talked about the need for serious tax reform in this state for a good many years. And, I chaired the Washington State Tax Structure Study some 10 years ago. And that committee was created under the regime of Governor Gary Law. And for years, nothing has been able to be done. So today, this day, we're going to begin to do something. We're launching I-1077, a campaign to pass major tax reform in the state of Washington. Why? Our tax code is unfair. It harms our economy and fails to provide the stable revenue that we need for important state services, particularly priorities like education and health care. Our state government faces an endless roller coaster, ride the boom and then bust cycles as they come along. And that really has a terribly undermining effect on our ability to provide services. We've seen deep cuts caused by this economic downturn, 40,000 people losing basic health coverage, class size reductions, efforts to slash tuition at our colleges becoming unaffordable, and care for our vulnerable seniors and the disabled has been reduced. So our tax code does require some working over, and middle class families are paying too much in taxes and the wealthy pay less. Moreover, the B&O tax penalizes small businesses, the engines of job growth in our state. And we can do better, so that's why we're launching I-1077 today. It will cut taxes for the vast majority of Washington citizens. Key elements include a 20% cut in the state portion of the state property tax and the elimination of the B&O tax on more than 300,000 small businesses, like this one where we're meeting this morning. And it will create a high earners income tax on the top 3% who can afford to pay. Individuals making more than $200,000 per year, or couples over $400,000. This reform will allow us to cut property taxes on working and middle class families and still raise more than $1 billion a year, which will be dedicated to funding education and health care. That will go a long ways towards meeting our funding gap here in the state. According to our state constitution, funding education is the paramount responsibility of state government. And yet a judge in King County very recently ruled that we're violating the state constitution by underfunding our education. The revenue raised by I-1077 will go to the Education Legacy Trust account, which funds priorities like K-12 class size, extending learning opportunities, pre-kindergarten, and expanding access to higher education. And a portion will be dedicated to funding the voter-approved basic health plan, public health services, and long-term care for vulnerable seniors. We built strict accountability and transparency provisions into this act, and the initiative including regular audits, a provision for mandate of a public vote before the income tax levels or rates can be changed. So today we begin the effort. To qualify I-1077 for the ballot. We will begin gathering signatures and will build a broad coalition of support for this effort. Business, labor, community leaders, as well as advocates for education and health care. So here we go. And now I would like to introduce Barry Fott, the owner of this Soho coffee shop where we are making this announcement this morning. Barry?